Hi, I'm Rachel Brown. I am a show production student here at Full Sail University. And for this assignment, I asked my best friend Sergio what he thought two of my weaknesses and two of my strengths were when it came to interpersonal communication. He told me that two of my strengths are that I'm a really good listener and that I'm very self aware of what I'm saying to other people. He said two of my weaknesses were that sometimes my nonverbal communication is not what I intend for it to be, and that sometimes I forget that other opinions can be okay, and I tend to sometimes not hear those out as much. And I would have to say his assessment of that is pretty correct on both the strengths and the weaknesses. When it comes to strengths, I am a good listener. I I'm very engaged when people are talking to me. I try to take in all of that, and so instead of that hearing versus listening, I'm usually on the listening side. And I think that's a great quality. So you take more because you're always able to learn from something. So if you're listening and not hearing, then you're going to learn something. And I think that's always a positive thing. As far as being self aware, I do think a lot before I speak. I am a talker, but everything that I say is well thought out before I say it. That goes with posting online as well, having that self awareness and monitoring myself and being competent on what I post online or just what I say in general to people. Anyone can overhear the wrong thing, and everything can be taken out of context. So I make sure I am aware of that. When it comes to the weaknesses, I do find myself sometimes forgetting that any other opinions are okay, and that it's just depends on who people are and where they come from. So that intercultural communication, I can struggle with sometimes. It's not typically a huge deal. I usually catch myself, and I usually will own up to it and make sure I stop and let them know, okay, I'm going to listen now and I'm going to hear you out. So it is something to work on because you don't want to do that just right out of the gate, but it is something that I do recognize. And then for the other weakness, as far as having sometimes not the right nonverbal communication, I do agree with that. I can tend to not show the same emotion in my head on my face. So I know we all kind of can do that sometimes. I do tend to do it a lot. I kind of have a blank stare or a resting face that's usually not as inviting. Sometimes I can't have that. So I do agree with him when it comes to that assessment. So it's kind of different to hear it from somebody else, but the fact that I agree with it, I think, goes back to my self-awareness and my self-monitoring. So I can just improve from here. So sounds good.